Hi, and welcome to what would have been the last episode of me playing my own Mario Maker levels if I hadn't gone and made like 5 new levels in the last week, which I will probably do in the next episode. But today we're going to play the last 4 levels I made at the end of last year, before I stopped making levels for a while, and we'll see how they go. First I made this pretty basic one, Jump and Twirl, which was I really like there's a whole bunch of levels on Course World, which are essentially teaching you how to do things, like teaching you how to use the tail or how to use the cape. And I wanted to make this one to teach players how to use the mid-air twirl in New Super Mario Bros., which gives you a little bit of extra distance when you're jumping. So really just kind of basic learning course. Like if there's a jump there, you can only get across if you twirl. If you don't make it, you can just try it over and over and over again. And then you have to do the same again, but you can die. So it's this really nice little mechanic for twirl, which just kind of like pauses you for like just a second in midair, which is really nice. And then just added this part where wall jumping doesn't get you anywhere, because you kind of like lose too much height. But if you wall jump, twirl, and you can make a height up. So the whole point is, hopefully some people just kind of stumble across this level in a 100 Mario challenge and learn that the twirl is actually really useful. That's really the whole point of that level, really basic. I guess that's my contribution to helping people learn how to play this game. Pretty different to all of my other levels around this time, which are just super hard and super obtuse. Yeah, you can see from the death flashes on the screen there, a lot of people clearly weren't quite figuring it out, but it's okay. Climbing Mountainous, which is just like climbing mountainous. I couldn't think of any creative name for my mountain. I really wanted to see if I could make a vertical level, so a level about climbing a giant mountain, like going up and up and up. Didn't work out quite as well as I wanted. I don't think Mario Maker really allows for verticality like I wanted. So my idea was you'd be walking through this forest. You kind of come out of a forest into a clearing and there's a giant mountain there. Borrowed a lot of kind of the same visual stuff I used in Garden Stroll, with the cobblestone around the dirt to make it more green. So I wanted lots of these kind of like really steep jumps, like going up and up and up. But yeah, you just get to the top way too quickly. And like this jump you can't actually make without spinning off these climbing dudes. And then my idea was you're getting up to the clouds, a bit of snow on the ground. And then you're up on like the snow-capped peak, but yeah, again, I don't think it really works. My idea of these things were kind of like rope bridges that maybe climbers had placed there and stuff. I think this relies way too much on people knowing what I was trying to do, which is something you really shouldn't be relying on. But I think it still works as a nice level, regardless. And then you kind of got your boss battle at the top of on the summit. I think I said in the last video that I don't use Bowsers very much, but I realized there's a couple of these later levels where I do use Bowsers. Normally Baby Bowser, Bowser Jr., whatever his name is, and normally in one of these flying things. Normal Bowser I just find annoying, like you just got to jump at the right time to get past him, and it just seems pretty obtuse. Baby Bowser seems like a much more interesting foe to me, since you can just jump on him 3 times to actually beat him. He seems more beatable. What was I thinking here, putting that spike there? Oh, there we go. And then you start with steep descent down the other side. I did put I put this big Bowser here, but you're just meant to like run away from him. I don't want people to actually fight him. And I put him in a airship as well, simply so he's easy to get past. You can just run under him. Yeah, not my favourite level I've made. Probably one of the first ones I delete if I need more space. Which I won't need for a while, because since recording the last video I've been awarded enough stars to make 10 more levels, which is probably why I started making levels again. So Caverns End, I returned to Super Mario 3. My idea with this one, I wanted to make one that, the initial idea, I wanted to make this kind of like overview map you have of a whole level. I wanted it to look really cluttered and like there was a whole lot going on. My problem was I made it too cluttered and I ran out of enemies. I placed down too many enemies, so I kind of just ran out of level, and then I just kind of ran out of patience making it, so I just ended it early. But what is there, I think the first half does feel quite cluttered and is what I wanted. I think the levels I'm most likely to play in this game, when I'm just looking at those overview maps, are the really cluttered ones. I'm like, wow, there's a lot going on there, and I get really excited and want to play those ones. And that's kind of what I was trying to do, but then, yeah, I just kind of got bored of it. I think you need to do a lot more planning if you want to actually see one of those through. You got to think about what you're putting down and where you're putting it. Whereas this I was just kind of doing randomly. So I kind of think it's kind of like a series of rooms, each with its own puzzle or challenge. This one, you know, you needed to bring that shell up here in order to get this beanstalk up. But I've got this conveyor belt of chompy things. I like the chompy things on conveyor belts. I like how you can go through their chain, so you can make all sorts of interesting arrangements of them that you have to jump over or duck under or squeeze through. So this one you can technically just run right past, but then you got to quickly fall down between them. And here you can either jump, or you have to hit the music block between each one so that you don't hit your head on a chomp. Some of the gaps are bigger than other ones, so you can wait and it gets easier. There we are. You have that little room full of coins and a shoe dude. Clearly some doors in there, but so we end up there eventually. Some awkward shaped jumps here, like if you do a full jump you're going to hit your head and land on the piranha plant thing. So you got to do a little tap jump. Then this room, I wanted to play with beanstalks on conveyor belts. Not conveyor belts, sorry. Rails. And you could do something much more complicated than this, but I just wanted it. Like you could have one where you have to climb up and going left and right and dodging blades. This is much more simple than that. Huh. Alright, I guess that's impossible if you're still big there. I never really noticed that. That is a design flaw. So if you don't take the shoe, you just die here, but I think it's pretty safe to assume most people are just going to take the shoe. So that door there leads back to the door that was floating in midair, back in the shoe room. Just so in case you die, you lose the shoe here, or you don't make this jump that I'm about to do, you can get back and get another shoe and try again. That's something I've really tried to do a lot of these later levels, is if a puzzle requires a certain item, make sure it's possible to get another one of those items. Don't like fully screw over the player, make them redo stuff just because they that was close. Just because they didn't figure it out the first time. Oh dear. Oh no. That did not go well. So here, well up the top there was one of these. I'll see if I can get up there and just look at it. So behind the gun I've put that one-way arrow pointing at the gun. That's because if I just built I didn't want the gun to shoot shells down into this maze part that I've made here. But if I built the blue wall all the way up to the top of the map, you can't then jump over it. It makes it means you can't move off the screen over a solid wall, but you can move over one of those gates. So that's the only reason that gate is sitting there. And then this maze, you kind of got to look at it and figure out where you can actually walk and where you can't walk to try to get through it. I think I saw someone else do a similar thing before. Those coins are there to kind of like tease people into attempting to just jump down. I don't think I've ever successfully done it before. And then here, so I've been trying to make my puzzles more visually obvious, like so you can actually look at it and figure out what's going on in a single screen. So you've got the turtle there, and you've got a wall down the bottom there with a block that the turtle can break. So clearly, damn it, clearly you need the turtle down there to break it. It's not really a puzzle, but I just want to make it clear what you're meant to do. So that if a player screws up, it's their fault, not mine, essentially. I like these spike beanstalk jumps because you have to think about about how you jump. You got to jump in such a way that you don't bump your head. So you got to go a little bit wider and land a little bit lower on the beanstalk. Oh Jesus, Brendan. And it's less annoying, I think, when just having tiny beanstalks, because then you just bump your head. That's annoying. Wow, why am I failing at this so much? Okay. Getting anxious, getting impatient now. I like these kind of mazes. You have to figure out what you're going to fall through and what's a platform you can stand on. And like, there's so much moving around, it can be so difficult to like, train your eye to do that. Whoa, okay, there's another one. I think those just have one-ups in them. I guess if you fell down here without a shell, you'd be screwed. You can't get back up. But hopefully it's visible enough that people look before they leap. But I just made this automatic piece. I like the idea, not of an entirely automatic level, but a part where you don't press anything for a while, just so that you're on edge and you've got to think about when do I have to press something again, and then you have to press something quite quickly there. So one player to kind of feel on edge and just like be like, oh god, surely I have to press something again soon. I'm just waiting for almost like a quick time event, I guess. I just try to figure out when you have to press a button again. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that level. And I think I've said this before, I just really like the colours of Mario 3's cave levels. So then, this one's a weird one. I made this one kind of like my 2 power block one. This one's based on headbutting. But you got to headbutt a gun around, which isn't something I've seen anyone else do. So you've got this gun, and on a water level you can bang guns with your head and they'll bounce around. If they hit the ground, they stay on the ground, but if they hit a music block, they'll bounce up again. There's this door here on the ground, and it takes you right to the end of the level. And you can kind of see what's up, so the ending's up there. And then you've got these guys you can't get past. So clearly you need a lot of power blocks to take out all of these guys. Which implies you need to bring the whole gun, you can't just bring 1 or 2 of the power blocks that it shoots out. So yeah, so headbutting the gun as long you got to hit the right half of it, or else you can send it backwards. And you can't keep it level. You can only it will always go down a little bit because it falls faster, and you can keep it up. Which is why I've done these music blocks rather than just a big empty blank space. My first idea was just a massive empty blank space, but it just seemed that was not possible. So instead I kind of made this quite tricky platforming part, so you actually have to balance a gun and figure out where you're hitting it. You can easily lose it. I mean, you gotta start again. This is also like, I've often thought like wanted to make an underwater level, but I couldn't think of any way to make an underwater level interesting. I feel just kind of the same. It's very rarely I find one I'm like, yes, I'm glad I played this underwater level. There's just not much you can do with underwater level. Like, it's hard for an underwater level to be anything other than just an underwater level. Oh god. Whoops. Whereas, you know, a cave level you can do all sorts of things, or a lava level you can do all sorts of things. But underwater level is just an underwater level, with exceptions, but not many. So I guess this is my attempt, like, this is something I can only make on an underwater level, but is also not a generic Mario underwater level. So I'm pretty happy with it in that respect. I've actually done something with the underwater rules and tile set that is unique. I do like the Flappy Bird clones and underwater levels, they're always fun. A really interesting mechanic in Mario's, well, Mario 3 and Mario World, I guess at least, is so Mario, his default in underwater levels is he goes down if you're not tapping A. You tap A to go up, and if you're not tapping A, he goes down. But if you start carrying something, you start going up, and you have to tap A. No, you have to tap down to go down, and it's very disorientating. Because just how the controller mapping just changes dramatically, just because you start holding something. Bollocks. It's a very interesting thing. I don't know if it's something that's ever used meaningfully in the original games. I'd like to do something with it, like make another underwater level all about floating upwards, and like you can't let go of an item for some reason. This level was hell to test. It took me a long time. I kept making puzzles that were far too brutal or unenjoyable or just luck based. Yeah, it was a good couple of hours between making and testing and actually getting it uploaded. Because it's not a very easily, oh dear, checkpointable level either. I had like some far more difficult challenges designed for it. You know, much more open spaces you could lose a gun in. Non-bouncy surfaces you could lose it on. But I ended up just stripping it way back, and I think like this part for Blades is probably the hardest one I ended up doing, because you gotta keep your height up a certain amount. Oh, that happens. Shit. Alright, gotta start again. Yeah, because this was just really annoying when you did really well. Event screwed up. Oh wait, it's alive. I probably can't get it up from there though. I think that's game over. No, once they're touching the ground, they're just immobile. So yeah, so I got rid of the more difficult ones just because like failing this just isn't fun. You don't want to do. It's so slow moving as well that you don't want to start it all over again. So I tried to make it a bit easier. I probably could have made it easier still. Like just moving in and of itself could have been satisfying without these gaps to get across and stuff. It's not as simple as when it touches your head it bounces across. You really kind of have to like swim against it for a while before it decides to go somewhere else. But you might be able to hear my finger mashing a button every time I get close to it. Oh, god damn it. Probably gonna run out of time on this run. Nope. It'd be awkward if it landed in front of that door. You would be completely stuck then. I don't know what happens if I go underneath it holding a power block, if I can like float it up. No. Nothing at all. I also think lobbing things in video games is often pretty satisfying. Thinking about where things are going to land. Oh no, 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 no. Which was like, so I thought that would make this level more satisfying as well, because you kind of like, got to think about where it's going to hit the ground. I guess that would be more satisfying if it was easier to control it. Yeah, I'm not going to get this done in 67 seconds. I should probably give up now, but let's keep trying anyway. Actually, you know what? I will start over, or else I'll just get to the end, and then the time will run out when I'm about to finish it. There's just no point. I would like to find more levels that use kind of headbutting in an interesting way. I haven't seen many. If you know of any, do let me know. I did play one the other day that's using, you put a helmet on and you can bounce Koopas around, and you have to bounce large Koopas across platforms to get them to somewhere to then smash walls. And that was pretty excellent. Oh, damn. But I don't know many other levels that do anything of headbutting without a helmet. Probably because it's really frustrating. Oh, sure. That was close. I shouldn't have headbutted it the last time. It's also possible to die. You can get squished under it between it and the music blocks. You got to be careful of that. I'll try to get it a bit closer to the edge before I go up the stairs. I don't think you can get it actually stuck there because of that music block in between the seaweed stalks. Or coral, or whatever it's meant to be. My initial idea was you would be able to get it stuck there, and that would be a fun thing, but then I realised that would be terribly annoying, but also realised you can't actually get stuck there. Unless you do it too far to the left or the right, but as long as it's at least partly touching the music block, it will bounce. Let's get it right near the blade so we don't have to travel too far. Oh, bollocks. Actually, that's probably best. Means it's even closer now. Get across. There we go. And this one's annoying, but there's also the stable music blocks, but you can kind of make sure as long as you try to stay above the stable ones, you're probably not going to lose it in the gaps. Originally I didn't have the stable ones underneath as fallbacks, and it was pretty annoying. Yeah, we're doing better this time. We don't have far to go. Famous last words though. So I gotta land it between those things and then somehow get it up. So then I gotta put these springs under it, and that's when I realized you float when you're holding things, because this is really annoying to do. Like trying to like stay still and throw them while your controls are completely inverted to what you're used to. God. Oh, I nearly just died while I wasn't watching. Maybe this is a frustrating thing to have like right after. Oh, Jesus. Did I just throw that through the one-way thing? This is not good. So it's really hard to place things you're carrying underwater rather than throw them. Because, well, I find it really hard anyway. Is that enough? Yes. Alright, we're in business. I didn't know you could hit coins with a spring, with a trampoline. That's very interesting. There we go. Yeah, wow. That level's rough. I'm still really happy with it. Just the idea more than anything. I think I executed it alright. That trampoline exercise at the end could maybe be less annoying. But yeah, so there's 4 more levels. And that's really where I intended to end this series. But I made these 5 levels since for New Year, so I might make another episode where I play through those as well. And I should do that before I make any more, just so this doesn't go on forever. In the meantime, thanks